Renée Marino of Linden is a professional communication coach, TEDx speaker, and best-selling author, and she's here to share with us her keys to communication. Renée, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, Lisa.
And we are so happy to have you here. Tell us about what it is that you do as a professional communication coach.
I believe that everything starts with communication, and when we learn to master this skill, we become limitless. In my own life, my highest of highs and my lowest of lows have all been tied to communication. And I realize that I've always had a love and obsession for communication. And I believe that started from my upbringing as a gal who grew up in a tight knit Italian American family. You could often find us sitting around the table, eating, laughing, sometimes arguing, but nonetheless communicating. And those are some of the greatest memories of my life. So as I got older and I had my career as a professional actress on Broadway and film and TV, I started to see how communication affects us all and how it really is a ground level skill. So in 2019, I was performing in Pretty Woman, the musical on Broadway, and I decided that I wanted to write a book about communication. And since the topic's so broad, I started thinking about what part of communication I wanted it to be about. And then I realized that in this day and age of digital technology, so many of us are distracted and we have so many different channels with which to communicate that you can sometimes see families at a restaurant not even talking because they have their heads down in a digital device. So that's when the light bulb went off and I said, this is what the book needs to be about. And I wrote the book, and then I decided that I wanted to activate my other gifts of being an author, a speaker, and a coach. And that's when I decided to take a course to become a communication coach. And I started coaching people, helping them first to get on camera and be themselves with confidence. And now I speak to companies, universities, and organizations, helping them to communicate effectively.
You do so much, and we'll touch on your successes in front of the camera and on Broadway in a little bit. But first, I want to know, what are some of your key pieces to healthy communication that you share with your clients?
Step one, Lisa, is always communication with self. Checking in with yourself every morning when you wake up before you pick up your phone to start checking into other people's lives and waking up every day and asking yourself, how am I feeling? Then take 5 to 10 minutes, write the answer, pen to paper, because what we write, we invite. One of the other most crucial components to being what I call a master communicator is being a complete listener. And that means listening, not just to respond and tell you about my thoughts and opinions, but to sit back and give the person speaking an open platform to be heard. And the third most important step is talking from the heart, understanding that communication does not mean confrontation. And what I see so much in the world right now, clients that I work with, is that they're not speaking up in their lives. They're not addressing situations in their personal and professional relationships because they believe that if they speak up, that means they're being confrontational, and they are not one and the same. And by believing they are, we are denying ourselves beautiful opportunities for connection.
So I want our viewers to know, because I'm sure they look very familiar to you. Talk about your career pre-communication coaching and how that's led to your success.
One of the most pivotal moments in my career came in 2013. I was performing on Broadway in Jersey Boys, playing the role of Frankie Valli's wife, Mary Delgado. It was a dream come true. This true Jersey girl getting to be in a show that's about where I come from. It was magical. And one Sunday matinee performance, I'm on stage singing My Boyfriend's Back and He's Gonna Be in Trouble with my fellow castmates, and staring back at me from the audience 10 rows back was the legend himself, Clint Eastwood. We got word that they were going to be doing a film version of the musical, and Clint Eastwood is going to be the director. And truth be told, like many of you, I discounted myself immediately. I said, oh, they're going to hire A-list celebrities out of Los Angeles to play these roles, and I've never done TV or film before in my life, so I'm not even going to think about it. A few days later, they start calling people in from our cast to audition, and they were looking for a Mary Delgado. So at this point, I thought to myself, well, it would be cool even to get a chance to audition for the film. So I contact my agent and I say, hey, let's see if we can get me an appointment to audition for Mary Delgado. Weeks go by, Lisa. Every girl I know on Broadway is getting an appointment for the role of Mary Delgado, but me. And my agent calls me one Thursday night and she says, Renee, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the problem is, but they said they won't see you for the role of Mary, but they'll give you an appointment for one of the smaller roles, one of the angels who sings My Boyfriend's Back. And I remember hanging up the phone and feeling my feelings for a while and just thinking, I tried everything I could. I'm still going to go in and audition for one of the angels. The day of the audition, I'm speaking with the casting director and we're in a great conversation. And then he says, Renee, would you like to sing the song first or read the scene? And in that moment, Lisa, I heard this quiet little voice within me say, you have to do this. It feels too right. And I looked at the casting director and I said, you know, Jeff, I was really hoping to come in and read for the role of Mary Delgado. And he looks at me and he goes, I was just thinking the same thing. And I was like, amazing, awesome. So I do the audition that day, leave there feeling complete gratitude because I got the chance. That's all I wanted. I go back to my 8 shows a week on Broadway. 2 weeks later, my agent calls me and she says, Renee, you're Mary Delgado in the movie. Clint Eastwood loves you. And I was like, woo! I mean, it was the most surreal moment of my life. I get there the first day. I'm in the shuttle on the way to set, and talk about feeling like you're jumping off of a cliff. Again, the butterflies are flying in my stomach, and I heard that quiet voice say, Renee, you know what you're doing. Clint Eastwood hired you. Trust in your talent and leap. And I walk through the doors that day and everyone says, welcome, Renee. And I meet Clint. And that first day, Lisa, and every day that followed, I would sit and eat lunch with Clint Eastwood and pick his brain like a sponge. Clint, what was it like when you were growing up? What was it like when you first got in the business? What does that camera shot mean? Because for me, I knew that I was in the presence of greatness and I wanted to absorb it and be, as I call it, a complete listener to elevate and use this information to make me a better person, a better performer, but more than that, a better human being. He taught me life lessons that I carry with me today. A month into the film, I'm eating lunch once again because that's my favorite thing to do is eat. And it's Clint, the producer of the film, and myself. And they're talking about how Clint knew he wanted me for the role when he saw me perform on Broadway. I put my fork down and I said, do you guys want to hear a funny story? I never got an appointment to audition for Mary Delgado. The only reason I got to read those scenes is because I opened up my big mouth in the room and asked. And the two of them look at each other and they say, what do you mean? We requested you. We said, we want the girl from the Broadway show to come into this audition. Imagine my surprise. And I came to find out that day that there was a middle person, casting associate, juggling a few films at once and just dropped the ball on having me come in to audition. And that story for me, Lisa, is such a pure representation of the power of communication and how when we have the ability and the confidence to speak up, we open the door to limitless opportunities.
Wow. I'm sure our viewers, as well as myself, had major goosebumps through that whole time.
When we learn to speak up and ask for what we want from a place of love and grace, we're able to seize all the opportunities in our lives that are meant for us.
For people watching that are interested in booking you for their communication needs, where can they find you?
Yes, come find me at reneemarino.com. And there you can read up about everything that I'm doing. You can learn about my courses and you can reach out to me just to say hi. I love, love, love connecting.
Thank you so much, Renee.
Thank you so much. So great to see you.